Welcome to Pumpkin Spice Podcast. This is a podcast that is recorded in my apartment with my dog who's drinking right now. And with me, as always, is...
Brittany. Hi.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
Hey, Brittany.
And now it's your turn to do your name.
My name is Rob Schulte. And here we are once again with another public episode. Now, some people say, I thought you were only doing Patreon in the off season, and you know what I tell them?
Well, it was me. I was like, hey, maybe, get with the generous times of the season. I'm taking all the credit. I was like, give the people what they want. They deserve it. Whether they've been naughty or nice, which brings us to the subject at hand.
Our live show? Yes. We did a live show last night with our special guest, John DeVore, a writer, a culture writer, an essayist. He's been in Vanity Fair, Esquire, Eater.
Wow.
And it was a really great time. See, the biggest part about this for me, Brittany, is that you came to New York strictly for this show and this show alone.
Well, I feel like you misunderstood, man. I came here to meet your dog.
Oh, that's right.
You got a dog. I was like, gotta come visit now because he's not allowed on the plane for sure. And I am for some reason. Where do they draw the line? I don't know, but somewhere between me and Clive. So yeah, I came here to meet your dog, but I scheduled it around the live show. That's true.
The good thing about Alamo Drafthouse is that there's really no BS. It's like, hey, just so you know, we show movies and then you're going to talk afterwards. So there's a microphone, plug in your recorder here, and go.
I thought you were going to say the best part about Alamo Drafthouse is the boozy milkshakes. I got wasted.
Yeah, my eggnog milkshake first came out with booze and then came out again without booze. I only ordered one, but I was ice cream rich last night. Clive, do you have something to say? Oh, okay. No, he just wanted to eat the microphone.
Cool, yeah.
Oh, great. Now the microphone smells like dog. I apologize so much. Okay, before we get into the episode, so what happened? What happened? Alamo's like, hey, we love Pumpkin Spice Podcast. Is that what happened? Well, maybe I emailed them, but then they were like, oh, cool, horror movie podcast. Looks like you got some downloads and some attention. We've got Silent Night. Wait, let me preface this. The first sentence was, we won't be able to show any Chucky movies this October because it's too short a notice. But in December, we're locking in Silent Night, Deadly Night on 35mm. Would you like to do a podcast recording after that? And I said, yes, please. Now, Brittany, what's your takeaway from last night?
You're missing Graham Young.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was personally missing my brother Graham High, but that's unrelated. Sorry, Rob's reaching. Rob's reaching for the microphone. No, the big takeaway that boozy milkshakes, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I had already seen it a couple times in preparation, and Rob said it was going to change my experience when I watched it on 35mm. And his girlfriend Jess was like, yeah, and also you'll realize, because you're not allowed to use your phone, you'll realize there are parts that you were looking at your phone when you were watching it at home. And I was like, no, I definitely watched it multiple times. And then there was a part I turned to her and I was like, this is definitely a part I was looking at my phone because I don't remember.
It was a struggle for me to not make the entire podcast recording just about the music in that movie. You were the one that, besides Deck the Halls, another public domain Christmas song, every Christmas song you heard in the movie was written for the movie?
That's what I read, but don't take my word for it.
Do the research yourself, listeners. We just compile thoughts and phrases and put them out to you.
If Graham was here, he would be able to tell you.
That is true. Graham Young, thanks for listening. We're going to schedule this in one of these days. We're going to have a recording with all three of us. I'm very excited for that. That is the year of giving up Facebook and recordings with all three of us. I almost phrased that in an awkward way. I don't think there's much more to say about the event without just letting people hear the event.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hop right in. Let's do it.
All right, and then afterwards, we've got a couple of words for you that you might also have heard in the episode that's live, but we're going to make them a little more clear. All right, enjoy the show.
you've been bad, there might be a treat for you in Santa's bag of toys. But Christmas won't be
Hello. Hi. Thanks for sticking around. Wasn't that awesome? Welcome to Pumpkin Spice Podcast. My name's Rob Schulte. I'm one of the hosts of this show. The other host is The Echo.
I just needed my space. I'm Brittany High.
And we have a special guest, writer John DeVore.
Hi.
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for coming out here. We're going to make this a quick one for you all. We've got 3 different things I'd like to talk about today, not one of which being why there's a 30-year-old bully kicking kids off of their sleds. I don't get it. But that leads me to my first thought. Our immediate takeaways of this film. I've seen it a handful of times, but I find something new each time, and it's really back to those bullies. I have never been that excited to ride a sled in my life. And although those kids were kind of dicks, I see the joy, like the Christmas joy in them wanting to have fun. What about you, Brittany? What's your immediate takeaway?
Gosh, I hope this isn't too deep, but isn't it like really something that he became the thing he feared the most?
Wow.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, that was frightening in more ways than one, and it's like the sons taking on the sins of their fathers. Anyway, John, how about you?
Stop trying to piggyback, man.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this. This is the first time I've ever seen this film.
Oh my God.
And this movie has been with me for 30 years. I remember staring at the video cassette box when I was a little kid. This was before, Blockbuster sanitized video stores, and video stores were run by perverts, and there was only 1 copy of RoboCop and 40 copies of movies like this. So I'm reeling a little, but my first big takeaway, I guess, is I didn't expect a complex psychological portrait of trauma.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy has a code. Don't be naughty. Don't have premarital sex. Don't be a nun.
Yeah.
He's basically the Christmas Punisher. And so that surprised me, right? I mean, don't be naughty. And then you won't get an arrow in the, although she really didn't do anything.
She didn't do
deserve
anything to
that.
deserve
Not
that.
Really-
naughty at all.
And also, too, if you have a good hiding spot,
Yeah.
stay there.
Those cardboard boxes are not doing anyone any
He
help.
would never.
Well, she
he
could have just
fell.
stayed, though.
Right,
Yeah.
but no. The moment he falls, she shouldn't have done that. But
Like
don't.
when you have a good hiding spot, though, you're just like, but by the way, I was here.
Kind of want you to know, remember E.T.? That was a good hiding spot.
That was a great one.
that was a good hiding spot.
Well, also, why was that bow and arrow so lethal?
Well,
And
I
it's-
think the bigger the 80s, right?
Sure.
There was a one moment when one of the orphans had an M16 toy gun.
yeah.
But anyway, in Ira's toy store was a fully functional bow and arrow ready to kill, and that, my friend, is the 80s.
Yeah, Rambo 2 had just come out.
Well,
Anywho.
that explains everything.
Okay. Let's move on to part 2 of this recording, everyone. I'm a fan of the Arsenio Hall Show and CNC Music Factory, and especially the phrase, things that make you go,
Things that make you go,
Okay.
So, just to kick it off, I've got a thing that made me go, okay? And that is that I'm not sure a human punched up this script. It was written and sat on someone's desk for maybe 7 years or so, and then some sort of bot got its hands and knew the elements of a horror film, but threw in too much in some areas, not enough in others, and put it completely out of order.
What did you want more of?
Yeah, but what, are you complaining? Is there something?
No, I just feel
gratuitous
like
nudity?
no. Well, it was sleazy
I could
enough.
have done some more of that. Yeah.
I mean, well, you got to understand that was the internet in 1984.
Oh, true. But okay, so I think for the movie's sake, you only need one trauma. You need the beginning trauma with the parents.
No, my friend.
Oh,
No,
please.
No, you need as much trauma as possible. Billy, again, all slashers of that era had a very concise sort of story, right? Jason in the lake and his mom, Freddy Krueger being killed by, the avenging parents, Michael, This is complicated. I liked it. I was into it. I got into the head of Billy. I understood Billy.
We're
I'm
all
worried about
Billy.
you.
You should be.
Okay, well, what about you then, Brittany?
Well, you know how my first thing I was like, oh, it's really deep.
Sure.
Well, the second one, I'm just like, do any of these people wear bras? Because every time they're like bursting open a shirt, it's just bare boobies underneath. It's like, isn't there a step in between? And it's the 80s, it's not the 70s. So
I would have expected
Right.
a little bit
Right?
more in the 70s. Hair and all of that.
it just made me go,
Yeah, it's true.
I wasn't complaining. It was just,
As an excellent observation. No one. And also, why did she put on her shorts? To let
Not a top,
She
I
was
know.
like, if the neighbors see me topless and in my underwear, that's too much.
Yes.
Gonna put on the Daisy Dukes, and I'm good in that neighborhood.
yes.
So many questions.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna
okay.
save that one later. That's a personal
You
story.
know, I had a thing that made me go. I had so many.
Please, John.
Start at the beginning.
I mean, I had that Jabba the Hutt playset, and we got at least 3 shots of that, and I was like, was this like stealth advertising?
Or there's a lot of Gumby too, so I don't think
Mr.
that.
Sims has a drinking problem.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to mention that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, he seems nice, but he has a lot of pain, is what I felt.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it's Christmas Eve.
Didn't loosen that tie once.
What employer gets his employees fucked up on Christmas Eve? He's lonely. I don't think he sees the obvious affection for the poor woman
The
that gets
lady.
right.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of pain. And in the 80s, he didn't really have many places to go with that pain. And
Except for the bottle,
I just wanted
so.
to mention that as I was sitting there, I was thinking, Mr. Sims, man, talk to me.
I kind of enjoyed his immediate excitement to start drinking
Because Mr. Sims has a problem.
I know.
He
Right, that's all he
runs
has.
a toy store.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe I related too much to that moment, but he is a sad man. And if he would have made it a little bit longer, he would have been rich. All those Jabba the Hutt play sets, like, no one's buying all of them.
Right.
eBay, baby.
If you had a little bit of foresight. All right, wrap it up with the third segment here. Our key takeaways culturally or psychologically or for you as an individual. I say that I find it odd that this movie got all the protesters and not Christmas Evil or any other sort of films that came out before. I don't know if it had to do with satanic panic on the rise or things of that nature, but it's something was happening cosmically. Could have been all of the lead the children were eating.
Speak more on that.
Well, in 1990, there was a dramatic decrease in crime. Anyway, you can look up that later. I will say this.
Rob's socioeconomic corner. That's
But only
fascinating.
tidbits that you
Right,
have
just
to. You're like,
teases.
what am I supposed to Google with that?
Subscribe to the podcast and I'll tell you everything. But I will read a letter from a concerned parent that I felt was pretty poignant. My 3-year-old son saw the television commercial for Silent Night, Deadly Night last night and now refuses to sit on Santa's lap for our annual Christmas picture. How dare producer Ira Barmak rob my child of their and others like him of their fantasy? What next? A marauding turkey on Thanksgiving? Sincerely, Paige Hurley, concerned parent.
I mean, I connect to that because when I would stare, there were 2 pieces of video cassette art that obsessed me as a kid, and that was Ghoulies, because I was like, that goblin's come out of the toilet. The fuck's that?
I'm afraid of all toilets.
And Silent Night, Deadly Night, because that was like sacrilege. I stared at it like the monkeys in the monolith in 2001. I could not conceive of Santa with an axe.
Except for firewood, right?
Sure,
gotta
right.
keep
He's
the
coming
fire
down.
going.
Dad has a lot of firewood. I connect with that in that era too, because my mom didn't let me play D&D.
Reindeer games?
She didn't let me play Dungeons and Dragons because she was sure it was the off-ramp to Satanism. Mm-hmm. So like that era, the mid 80s, there was just crazy parental fears and culture that I don't know if they're around like that today.
It's
Well, maybe that's this section. I don't know. I remember Marilyn Manson being
that's right. Okay.
huge scary, but now his music is pump up jams before a basketball game. So
Wow.
what kind
I
of
saw a
basketball
shot
games
putter
are you
using
going
it once.
to?
I don't know, but Brittany, do you have any cultural or key takeaways for yourself?
Well, gosh, I didn't realize they needed to be cultural.
No,
but
you can do
know
whatever
that
you want, I
Part,
don't care.
You know the part with the sledders and the guy's like, "Are you having a religious experience or did you just pee your pants?"
Oh, the funny guy.
Yeah, but I'm like, why can't it be both? That's how I feel about this film. I'm like, it's both.
I'm not
I
here.
peed my pants. I found Jesus. It's all there.
Is that why you left?
I needed a moment.
Yeah.
I think this movie might be incredible. I sort of wanted. I sort of came in here and I was gonna be like, this is gonna be fun. It'll be kitschy. It's whatever, right? It's Saturday Night Deadly Night. But I was like, this is something else.
Did it change you?
I might have again like. There was some catharsis. There was some Aristotelian sort of like poetics going on. Billy suffered a tragedy. He was a victim of his own flaws. First and foremost, that he saw.
I want to hear this one out, John.
Phantom murder and abuse. Oh, okay. Yes, I felt some fear and pity for Billy.
For sure.
When he died.
You're like, he's a victim. Like, he wasn't rehabilitated. He wasn't.
And the brother, at the point that you brought up, the brother's going to suffer.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I wonder
And
if
all
that's
those
going to happen
children.
in a sequel.
A squeakquel.
Same time next week, everyone? Anyway, so to close up this, we like to read a letterboxed review. I found one that was fairly short, and it goes like this. It's from Collie Adams. Sure, Billy was a psychotic murderer, but did you see how handsome he was?
I was thinking the same
Would
thing.
happily take an axe to the gut as long as I was allowed to sit on his knee and discuss how naughty and or nice I'd be in this year. Heart emoji, tongue emoji, heart emoji. Please, John.
Naughty.
One other small thing.
Bring it on.
He's Terminator strong. His first kill is strangling that guy with the Christmas tree, and he's like super strong.
It's cool.
Yeah.
What?
That's trauma, baby.
What?
As we know, when you
Yes,
face trauma,
please.
you
It gives you
get
this-
stronger strengths. Thank you all for
Thank
coming
you.
out,
Yes.
listening to Pumpkin Spice Podcast after Silent Night, Deadly Night. Thank you, Alamo Drafthouse. Make sure to, if you've ever listened to a podcast, subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else that you find them. Brittany, do you have anything to plug?
Oh, totally. If you guys like listening to podcasts about like home improvement and Frasier, Dawson's Creek, like 90s shows, we also have a podcast called The TV Show. The TV Show. Not the TV Toe Show. That's
No,
weird.
that's
that
weird.
doesn't make any sense.
There's a Wikipedia for that, though.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe to that. Check it out.
And John, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
I had a lot of fun. This was great. Can we sing a chorus of Silent Night, Deadly Night?
Let's do it. Who's ready?
Santa's watching,
Silent
Santa's
night.
waiting.
I don't-
There's something in
All right. Thank you, everyone.
So, Rob, what did you think the audience reaction was? I have some thoughts on it, but let's let men go first for once, right? Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Millennia of coming second.
Surprisingly, a lot of laughs for you and John, and a lot of blank stares and was that a joke for me? But they were very engaged.
I meant the movie, but sure, yeah. Let's make it more about us.
Okay. The audience loved it. There was a lot of laughing. There was a lot of hooting and hollering. Everyone was just having a dang old good time. I got a haircut for the event.
My old coworker, David. Hi, David. Thanks for listening, man. And thanks for coming out. That was cool. He didn't like it. So I have a feeling that this movie may not be for everyone.
Yeah, John DeVore certainly had, as we just heard, had some positive yet mixed feelings. A couple of my friends showed up as well. There were so many of you. Mark, Fish, Jonathan, Tina, Greg. Yes. And so many more. Gavin, Audrey. You all seem to have a positive good time.
Janelle, Penelope,
Yeah.
Jason,
Jaden.
Will Smith.
Yeah. Anywho. This has been Pumpkin Spice Podcast. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review because that's how we move up on the ranks of podcasting. But also, you can get our bonus episodes over at Patreon. If you're like, you know what, a review is not enough, I'd like to give a little bit of money and get a little bit in return. Brittany, where else can they hear you and I?
On the TV show. It's a show or podcast that we talk about television shows like Frasier and Home Improvement, all the classics. Quantum Leap, that was a long one.
So, you can hear our voices publicly, privately. Here's a... Well, yeah. I have an idea. If you're listening to this episode, maybe this is an episode you play on Christmas Eve for your family when everyone's like, hey, should we play a board game? Should we do a family activity? You'd be like, oh, hey, I have an idea. There is a podcast. It's Christmas themed, holiday themed. Maybe we can all get some cocoa and listen to it.
That sounds like a good call.
All right, until next time, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Merry Christmas. Keep it spooky.